know this is going to be hard for some of you, not all of you. Some of you have been listening to me long enough, this will be easy. We are not of a mind, of a belief, that somehow everybody in their condition right now is ready for this. Okay? This is the position, though, of groups around that are Messianic or Hebrew, that somehow it's a kumbaya, everybody come and it's all great and we're all ready and we'll just make allowances for everybody and we'll make it palatable to everybody and everything's okay and can go and everything can be fine. Yahweh doesn't say any of that. He says, this is what it is, you're going to go do it, and those who want to be a part of that will attach themselves to you when they're ready to do so. But this is not, that sort of coddling, enabling, entitling thing. He says, this is it, or you can be outside the camp. There's not like, this is it, and we'll make adjustments for you in the camp. This is what goes on in the camp. If that works for you, fine. If it doesn't, there's outside the camp. You got two choices. His desire is for everyone to be in the camp, and that's why it's 1,000-year millennial reign to give people a chance to grow out of that snowflake, coddled, soft, weak, heartless place. I mean, heartless, not that they don't love, but they have no heart to put in that effort. Okay, like I'm using like the sports metaphor, like a team that has no heart just has quit. It's basically they quit. They're quitters, all right? And it may take 1,000 years to get people there because it's a lot of years, several thousand years, of generationally and genetically embedded quit and weakness. And we see it getting worse and worse and worse and worse. I heard an interesting statistic the other day. I don't know if it's true. I just thought it was interesting. That I guess they had done some measurements on the pounds of pressure of a handshake. The average handshake, how much squeeze pressure there was a generation or two ago compared to now. That number's dropped significantly for the men, and it's gone up for the women. Did I tell you anything? The men are getting weak. Women are getting strong. And I'm not saying it's bad necessarily if the women get strong, but the weak men is causing a problem. Physically, mentally, emotionally. And so, you will not want your teacher to worry about what he has to say at a microphone based on who might just happen to tune in that day. Because you have to understand, he's in charge of who does what and shows up when, and his timing is the timing. And you know what? Some of you found me, and I'm not going to ask for raised hands, found me, and the first time you found me, you weren't ready, and you went away, didn't hear me again for a year or two. Just because you weren't ready for that message. I hear that all the time. Hey, the first time I heard you, I was like, nope. Didn't hear you again for about 2 years, or whatever it was. Because people might say, oh, but you got to be careful. You talk about that, and a new person will walk in, and it may be exactly what they needed to hear. I would not think that beware false prophets would be the best first teaching to hear. I'm just saying, if you asked a logical question, I would say that would be too strong for almost anybody. But how many of you, that was the first teaching you heard? Half the room, okay? But I would never have thought to recommend that to you first. But yet, I can't tell you that everywhere I go, when people talk, it's at least half of them, it's the first teaching they ever heard. So let's not think that we're so smart to know what's appropriate for somebody else and what they need to hear. Because almost every one of you will tell me whatever teaching you heard first was what you needed to hear. It wasn't necessarily what the next person, what they needed to hear, it was what you needed to hear. And you said, that's exactly what I needed to hear. This guy's reading my mail. Okay? And so let's not worry about what comes from the microphone and how other people might react. Look, this is about a process, and in this process, we're learning about loving each other, but we're also loving each other in a structure, and we have to accept that structure. Because some of you are like, we're done with this love and Torah, 40 parts, come on, move on to something else. Well, are you done fixing the things that I'm talking about? Have you gotten them all fixed and worked out? I don't think so. It doesn't appear, I'm not going to have ego flowing out of every pore of my just assuming. It certainly doesn't look like you've got it all figured out. I don't see the evidence of it. I know I don't have it all worked out as far as how to love you, the way he loves me, or the way he loves you. I think we might spend until the day we die working on that one. All right? That's a hard one. That's not like trying to figure out how to move from Sunday to Saturday or how to just figure out to read ingredients on a label so you don't eat pork. I mean, this is a lot tougher than that.